Carlos plays college soccer. He makes a goal 65% of the time he shoots. Carlos is going to attempt 2 goals in a row in the next game, and he tends to shoot in streaks. The probability that he makes the second goal, given that he made the first goal, is 0.90. What is the probability that Carlos makes both goals, and what is the probability that Carlos makes the first goal or the second goal? So we've already looked at this problem in a previous video, but we focused only on number 1. So here we're going to also do this number 2, okay? So let's focus on number 1 here. Actually, let's first recall what everything that we are given. So remember, we have 2 events. I'll call them G1 and G2. G1 is Carlos makes the first goal. And G2 is Carlos makes the second goal. Because Carlos makes goals 65% of the time, we know that probability that he makes the first goal, generally without any additional information, is 65%, and the probability that he makes the second goal is 65%. We are also told that the probability that Carlos makes the second goal, given that he's made the first goal, is 0.90. Okay, so now let's start on number 1. For number 1, we want to know the probability that Carlos makes both goals, which means the probability that he makes the first goal and the second goal. So this is a probability involving the word and, which means we want to use the multiplication rule that we previously learned. Okay? So the multiplication rule in this case is going to be probability of G2 times, let's do G1. Probability of G1 times probability of G2 given G1. Okay? And so just plug in. I guess 0.65 is the probability for G1. And for the probability of G2 given G1, that's 0.90. Okay, so we throw that into a calculator, which I'll do off to the side here, and we get 0.585. Which means there is a 58.5% chance that Carlos is going to make both those goals. Okay? All right. Now let's get to the new stuff. Number 2. What is the probability that Carlos makes the first goal or the second goal? So mathematically, if we write that out, we get probability that Carlos makes the first goal or the second goal. So this is a probability with the word or. And we just learned that in order to calculate a probability like this, we can use the addition rule. So I'm going to add the 2 probabilities separately, probability of G1 and probability of G2, and then subtract the double counting, because I count everything they have in common twice. Once when I count G1, once when I count G2. So I have to subtract it out once. Probability of G1 and G2. That's the formula for the addition rule. Okay? So we know from the problem statement that the probability of G1 and the probability of G2 are both 0.65. So I have 0.65 plus 0.65, and then I need to subtract the and probability, which I just calculated. That's 0.585. So I'm going to subtract 0.585. Throw that into a calculator. And we get 0.715. It makes sense that it's higher than this, right? This is he makes both goals. This is the probability that Carlos makes at least one. Okay, so this probability will always be higher, at least as high as this one. because all you need to happen here is one of these two things has to happen. It's okay if both happen, but only one of them has to happen in order for us to be satisfied here. So the probability that Carlos makes one of the two goals is 71.5%.